The Clown Prince of Crime gets a 6-scale collectible. Here's your look at the upcoming Mondo, the Batman animated series, The Joker 1/6 scale figure. Based on the seminal Batman the Animated Series, the Joker 1/6 scale figure stays true to the animated classic, sculpted to match the iconic style of the show, and with a paint scheme evoking the bold, graphic look of an animated cell, featuring approximately 30 points of articulation, multiple switch-out hands, heads, accessories, and a figure stand, the Joker comes fully equipped to keep Gotham and your collection in chaos. First things first, before we get a closer look at Mr. J, let's go ahead and grab the tape measure just to see how tall he stands. And while I'm doing this as well, I'd like to thank the folks over at Mondo that did provide this sample of the limited edition Joker that we can have a look at in this video. Technically, he is still also available over on their website in the standard release. We're going to talk the differences between the limited edition release, which is only limited to 1,000 copies worldwide, and the standard release. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, though, Mr. Joker, stands at about 11.5 inches in height, or he's going to be roughly 29 centimeters tall. Hey, didn't we already have a look at a Mondo Batman animated series figure? You guys were really paying attention. We did, in fact, sliding over the Joker, bringing in the previously looked at Batman so you can see the difference between the two. Yeah, unfortunately, Batman, short of just his ankles being a little more on the looser side, unfortunately, he did take a bit of a tumble during that review. You can actually see that Batman is quite a lot shorter than Joker. I wonder if we are going to be getting a re-release or another reissue of Batman down the road where he's going to be slightly taller and a little bit more in line with the Joker that we got this time around. And while they don't actually share the same size, there is one thing that they do share. It is the oval-shaped display stand. Quite literally as well. This is actually the display stand that came included with Batman. I just decided to use it also with Joker because, first of all, it's the exact same display stand. Nothing does get changed with the Clown Prince of Crime. It still has the adjustable neck with the cradle clip that's going to actually fit in between Joker's legs. The reasoning why, though, I am using this one and not the one that came included with Joker. I'm just going to reach off to the side. Bear with me here. I'm going to bring in the packaging. I noticed, though, when it came to their packaging, while all the hands were easily retrievable, I could simply just pop and remove them from the tray. Unfortunately, though, contained inside underneath the plastic was both the display stand and the adjustable neck. I wish they could have actually found the same way to attach the display stand and the neck in a way that you could have been able to remove it so I didn't have to actually rip the plastic away. Because, I mean, when I eventually decide to put away the hands I'm not planning to use with the Joker, I'd like to be able to put them back in the tray and then the tray still be part of the cardboard back. With me actually removing the bottom like this, I would almost have to remove it only to about here and hope that the adhesive stays behind for the rest of the hands. Again, I really feel like the display stand probably should have been something that you could remove without having to lift the plastic and break the packaging in the process. That being said, we're going to move that to the side. And yes, the display stand is working the exact same way. It actually comes in two parts, as we've already seen before. You have the adjustable neck, and then you have the main Bat logo stand with a little slot in the top there that then you take the display stand neck, and that slots in. You kind of have to line everything up there. And then from there, you just simply bring this up, and you can take yourself then the Joker figure, and he sits right over top of this. And unfortunately, it will even make him that much taller more than Batman. Again, I don't know why the Joker figure is so much taller than Batman. I'm almost thinking that they should have scaled them so that they were the exact same size to one another. Either way, though, let's have a look at the accessories that come included with the Joker. We're going to start first by me showing you guys the things that come included with the limited edition release Joker. So if you are, though, lucky enough to get your hands on the one that's only 1,000 copies worldwide, he gets 2 swappable heads and he gets 1 extra accessory that aren't present with the standard release. Honestly, though, of the things that come included with the limited release, I don't think you're necessarily going to be missing out by only getting the standard version of Joker. You'll see what I mean in a second. First, though, let's have a look at these swappable heads. Now, again, these ones are only available with the limited release. First of all, you got Joker with the wide-rimmed hat here. The hat itself, as well as Joker, you can see all have a cel-shaded look to it. It looks very much like his cartoon counterpart. And while I do think this is a fantastic head for Joker, I would honestly have had a Joker with a trench coat, I think, to go along with this specific hat. I mean, obviously, it does look good on Joker. In fact, you know what? Let's grab the figure and just remove the head. I've already taken the liberty, after opening up the packaging, to try out all the heads just to see what they actually look like. And while it does look good, I mean, it's nice to see Joker with an actual hat on his head. I think, honestly, he would be better suited to have an actual trench coat to go along with this specific head sculpt. Get a closer look so you can see what's going on here. I do like the way they've had the shadow cascading down from the top of his rim hat, falling across his face like this. Got some nice cool dark gray added in there, but still managed to get some nice panel outlining done around the eyes. Decent looking head. The other option available for the limited edition release is this head sculpt here. Now, this is from the episode Be a Clown, and this is Gecko. The only thing I would say about Gecko here is that you notice he does have a hat on his head. I almost would have gone instead to have Gecko with the bald head, or even that smaller black hat that he wears at the beginning of the episode. And just again, to show you what it looks like with Joker, popping that onto the ball joint, making sure, of course, it's all the way onto the ball joint. There we go. Yeah, I mean, again, it looks great, but to go with the rest of the body, I don't know if I would ever have really displayed the head sculpt of Gecko with the Joker body. By the way, also one thing I did want to note too is anytime you seem to change the head, there's a little bit of gray paint that they've added for the shadow of the neck. And every time that I've removed and put on a new head, I've noticed a little bit of the paint has chipped away. It's probably something that's going to start to happen the more times you change the heads. I mean, there's really a lot of heads to go for and a lot of heads to choose from that it's really hard to kind of pinpoint which head you'd like to display with the figure. As quickly as I like this head sculpt, I could easily see myself swapping it out for something else instead. And just one last time to show you guys the two head sculpts that include with the limited edition Joker. Once again, you got the wide rim kind of mobster Joker head sculpt, and then you've got Gecko. Would you say either one of these would be strong contenders for how you would display the figure? Yeah, I mean, maybe down the road, if Mondo releases a trench coat Joker, by all means, I would say certainly display the figure with this. But I don't know if, again, I would display it with just a regular suit Joker like what we have right here. The other thing that is limited edition to this Joker is that he comes with a stick of dynamite. It would be really hard to argue that this doesn't belong to the Joker, but the fact he has a big, obviously, head sculpted down below it. The wick is rather interesting because it does feel like it's not plastic, but instead like a fabric, like they've actually used a string. They clearly have added some adhesive or some paint over top of it to thicken the string, but it does actually feel like it's threading and not necessarily plastic. Now, he comes with this, but he also technically comes with the standard release, a full stick of dynamite, once again identifying exactly who it belongs to. If you don't get the chance to get your limited edition release, which includes this stick of dynamite here, then you still technically get this full set contraption. And I think that's such a cooler looking accessory anyways. I do like the idea of getting that stick of dynamite, but I think for Joker's all about going over the top, and nothing goes more over the top than a big bunch of dynamite with wires on the side here and big Joker's face in the middle. I think that's such a cool accessory. So those are all, really, to be honest, those are the things that come included with the limited edition release. Based from that, you can decide for yourself, do I want to try to track down, get in the limited edition, 1,000 copy worldwide distributed Joker, or be just settled and fine with really all the standard release accessories, which are all about the things that we are going to be looking at right now. First, though, the figure comes included for the standard release, a bomb. Sometimes you just can't get rid of a bomb. You got a little bit of reflection of light here from the side, which also continues its way up the top by the wick. And once again, the wick seems like it's actually a threading. I don't know if you can actually tell that by the camera, but it does actually look like it is a real string. And then they would have painted the front of the wick. So it actually has the same kind of color scheme as what you would expect to see in the cartoon. Joker doesn't really have necessarily a hand for holding the bomb. All of his hands, even this one being the widest of the bunch, technically this does a better job of holding like the stick of dynamite. You kind of wedge it in between his fingers and he holds it this way. Just get it in between his hands. You kind of have to have it in just the right way. Just like, well, I almost have it here. Just kind of like, there we go, just like that. Can't really say that for the bomb. There's just not enough surface space, not enough for him to really hold on to. But you could technically have him just balancing the bomb in his hand. Probably not one of those things you really want to be balancing in your hand, but he does have that as an option. The figure also comes included with an ice pick. The ice pick is rather dark and brown on the one side, though if you spin it around to the other, you got the true colors done in yellow for the handle and gray for the actual pick. Nice to see that they would have included this. I almost would have exchanged the plastic used for this, and maybe added just a little bit more plastic and instead giving him like a crowbar. Maybe. I don't know. An ice pick is not something I would necessarily display with the Joker. Again, I always like that companies like Mondo include as much as they do. I don't know if I would ever really see myself displaying the Joker necessarily with an ice pick. And of course, he does have, again, dedicated hands. He has a hand for holding the ice pick, as you can see right there. And all of the hands, by the way, have some cool shadowing that they've added to the inside of the palm. Again, really makes it look like his animation counterpart. By the way, all the pegs also, all the hands do have their own dedicated pegs, so you don't have to worry about having the pegs stay behind in the sockets of the forearms. Every one of the hands, as you remove them, have all their pegs included with them. I love that they actually do that. The figure also comes included with a stack of cards, a fanned-out fold of cards. You can see there's Joker's face on the front. The back, while it doesn't have any pattern work, at least they've gone and actually painted the part red. You can see even the cards underneath it are still painted that little bit of red. And again, you can really then use the hands. Where was the hand that I ended up using here for the ice pick? There we go. You can also use that same hand and wedge the cards in between. So the thumb is basically resting against Joker's face. You can display it like that. Other things that come included with the figure as well. I really like these. He comes with laughing fish, big smiling fish of two different designs. One actually has the tail angled down, one has the tail angled up. But in both the cases, you can see those fishies seem very friendly and happy. The panel lining done nicely here around the teeth, so you can see each of the individual teeth. Big red lips also on both of them as well, and both their fins and tails also do have, as you can see, the green added in there as well, with some nice dark green, and even on their underbelly too, they've added some that necessary shading to really, again, make it look like an animation fish, a happy fish still. The figure then comes included with a couple of hands, again, for holding the fish. He comes with these little ones that looks like he's trying to pinch someone's, I don't know, like an eyelash or something off their face. I don't know if you really would want Joker to have, pulling something off your face. But he does actually have, like, the hand to hold the fish in his hand. Or technically as well, he also has this hand too. So really, you could have both the hands displayed with the fish. Although this hand is a harder plastic, you probably will need to pry the plastic away from to properly hold the fish. You can kind of hold it by the tail, but this hand actually does a better job. This hand here does a better job to actually hold the fish. And then, of course, he has a whole bunch of hands, as you've already seen already. Comes with a couple of gestured hands. So if you like your Clown Prince of Crime to be playing jokes, or so surprised that Batman just doesn't get the joke, he comes with these fanned-out hands. You can see the shadowed added in there as well. Very neat-looking hands, all again with their own pegs. The figure also comes included with a pointing hand. So if you wanted to have Joker with one pointing hand and one gestured hand on the other side, you can pull that off as well. Really good color. And actually, too, I don't know if I had even mentioned this when I looked at the Batman, but a good quality of plastic that they're using for these. Like the plastic for the hands, even just themselves, is not a super soft plastic. It actually does feel like a good, not plastic that's brittle, but it's a good, like, kind of rubbery plastic that they use for it. Really dense plastic. Figure, obviously, we already looked at the fact he does have the grabbing hand. He also has, again, like this hand here, ideally suited for holding those fish. Comes also with a couple of gripping hands for, obviously, all the other accessories he comes included with, like, for example, the stick of dynamite. You can take the stick of dynamite. The dynamite, though, is something you're going to have a little more problems doing because Joker's face is, of course, on the front. I would certainly recommend prying this open, maybe using a little bit of hot water or a hairdryer just to soften up the plastic, because obviously Joker's face being down below like this, I mean, you could put it up this way, but I wouldn't want the risk of breaking the wick off the end of the dynamite. One fun accessory that I like that they included is also Joker with the joy buzzer. Resist the urge if you can to try not to shake his hand. Psst. Nice coloring done on the inside of it. I feel like the joy buzzer probably should have been a little bit more centered. I feel like they probably would have. I think they might have missed it a bit when it comes to the paint. I feel like it should be a little bit. You can almost see, like right there, the way it's been outlined. The red shouldn't be as far over as it is, but just a little error when it came to printing this in the factory. I mean, from a distance, you would barely even notice that was an error anyways. That's probably going to be something I'm going to be displaying with the Joker. And then the last thing he comes included with, not diminishing it at all, is he comes with a whole bunch of different swappable heads. And I really, when I had first opened this up and I had a couple hours just to kind of look and kind of move around Joker and kind of figure out what I like and what I didn't like about necessarily the Joker, I had a real tough time, honestly, figuring out what my favorite head sculpts were. Honestly, though, this is the defaulted head right now. This is the one that just has a regular Joker with a big smile across his face from ear to ear. Nice outlining done to, again, to those teeth. Got a little bit of reflection there on the bottoms of his lip. And he's got big, beady-looking eyes outlined nicely here in black. You got the shadow there on the side with the little reflection, the little green there in his hair. Just a really solid head sculpt if you want a classic-looking Joker. But though, he has some really cool-looking heads as well. He has just this smug smile face on his, as well as an alternate head sculpt. And again, like when you see how much more personality comes with these other heads, you almost feel as if you don't want to then settle with this head sculpt here. At least that's the thought I had. I really like this head sculpt quite a lot. But again, there's a lot other ones to choose from. And just to show you the difference, I'm going to go ahead and once again pop the head off the ball joint. There we go. Put that to the side and then put on the smug Joker face. I don't know if that's the actual name for the Joker face, but how cool is that? That is such a good face. You can see the way they've really accented the cheeks on the side there with a little bit of panel outlining. Just a little bit of shadow added in there as well. Really gives a lot of personality to the Clown Prince of Crime. Oh, but wait, there's more. Sounds like this is an infomercial. Oh, wait, there's more. He also comes included with more panicked Joker, or perhaps one that's been defeated by the bats too many times to count. And this one is just a defeated Joker. And again, to show you the difference with that, to show you the smug Joker face, and then again, the more disappointed Joker, would that be a good way to describe that? To show you what that looks like on the figure's body. You see what I mean? Like, with so many good ideas when it comes to heads, it'd be hard-pressed to kind of pinpoint just one. I could see myself putting this on the shelf, and then maybe a day later going back and saying, you know what, today maybe I feel like hysterical Joker, laughing out loud. While I wouldn't necessarily say that this is a laughing out loud Joker, like the expression captured on his face is incredible. I think Mondo has done a great job on all of these, in fact. And then the last one, perhaps I would say even my favorite, is this one here. The laughing hysterically Joker. This gives a great opportunity as well to show more of the tongue. You only get a little bit of the tongue here, sort of as he's biting it. You can see a lot more of Joker's tongue as his mouth is completely wide open like this. Perhaps I would say this is my favorite of the batch. We're going to go ahead and pop that off and put this on for the rest of this review. Making sure I've got enough on there. One thing you will want to be careful of when it comes to putting Joker's face on the ball joint is the obvious. He has the peg, the very long, beaked nose. You don't want to put a lot of pressure against that. Certainly don't want to chip the paint. But easily by far, this is my favorite, I think, Joker of all the head sculpts that come included with this figure. Again, you got some nice shadowing happening here on the side. Just the nice bright colors of the yellow that they've used. Tiny little beaded pupils there for his eyes. And again, a big, laughing, hysterical smile. Easily my favorite, I think, of the head sculpts. I keep saying easily and then I think, but it is easily my favorite of the Joker head sculpts. As for the rest of his body, it's classic-looking Joker design. He's got the lighter yellow undershirt with his little tie here, and then he's got the little pom-pom, little flower. Don't get too close, whatever you do. It's probably going to be spraying acid in your face. That's there as well. Nicely detailed also. The coloring pulled exactly from the colors of the cartoon. And of course, you've got the jacket with the long tail on the back there. This, by the way, is a softer plastic, while the jacket itself does feel a little more of a harder plastic. The strings themselves, actually on his tie, are separate pieces. I don't know why they had to necessarily do that, but appreciate the fact that they did. The jacket, for obvious reasons, isn't removable. I mean, you can kind of feel where it pries away from the rest of his torso, but you're not going to be able to get anything more than that. They probably just made this as loose as they did, so you can actually move the articulation on the torso and the jacket not be in the way of things. Again, you got some nice shadowing happening on the back. So basically all the part that the light isn't hitting is darker here on the back of Joker's body. Got the little natural wrinkles that would develop on the back of his jacket like this. Of course, he's got the darker colors down all the way down to the bottoms of his spats and his shoes with a little bit of reflection of light down at the bottom there. The figure has decently flat feet and wide enough feet as well that he doesn't have any balancing issues. Not that Batman had. Obviously, when it comes to the articulation on the figure, one thing I did like about the Joker figure, is that his joints are a little bit more limited in the ankles, but that also prevents long-term a figure having any stability issues. He still has all the things that you would expect from an ankle joint. I mean, you can rotate it back and forth and all those things. He still has an ankle tilt, but obviously he's not going to have a very visible, narrow ankle like Batman had, where he's going to have a little more problems standing over time. As for the articulation on Joker, we're going to stick with this head sculpt being my favorite. The head is on a ball joint, as we've already seen several times. The head rotates all the way around, obviously. It does go look up. It does look down. And you can also rock it back and forth as well. One thing you may also notice as well is he does have a secondary ball joint at the base of the neck, so that also allows some additional posability to get a really low look for Joker. You can have him just kind of tilted his head ever slightly up. As for the arms do come out. Jacket being a little bit on the more softer side, it means you can actually move his arms up and it doesn't feel like they're necessarily rubbing against the plastic. It leaves just enough of a socket space down below here. Obviously, from the side, you're going to notice that the yellow shirt is peeking its way through, like Joker's got holes in his jacket. But obviously, they would have to have put that in there so to accommodate for the fact that he does have then the arms to be able to move back and forth. They squeak, they creak, but at least Joker has no real difficulty when it comes to moving his arms. For his actual elbows, he only seems to have a single hinge joint, but you can allow then the arms to rotate back and forth, and whatever hands you decide to display him with, rotate all the way around. He has an upper torso ball joint, and then when it comes to his legs do split out. They seemed a little more on the looser side. I mean, not loose to the point where the legs are just going to start swinging out on me, but you can see that they're actually socketed by ball joints. That also allows the top of the ankle or the top of the thigh to rotate back and forth. He has a single hinge on the knee, allows the lower leg to also rotate back and forth just a little bit. And because, again, the cuff of his pants drape as low as they do, it also means that he's a little more limited on the articulation when it comes to his ankle, as we've already discussed, but at least he does have the ankle pivot, and he can rotate the leg back and forth, or the feet back and forth. Good, solid-looking Joker, and I hope that down the road at some point we are going to be getting ourselves a 6-scale version of Harley Quinn, sort of teased on the back of the card where his display stand sat. And again, while I'm freeing up a little bit of space, I'm just going to reach off to the side here and bring back in Batman. Again, the only thing about them is that Joker is very noticeably taller than the Caped Crusader. I hope that's... Again, it's not really anything that can now be fixed. This is the reissue Batman, so that would have been the opportunity for them to make the Batman figure a little bit either taller or make the Joker then a little bit shorter. I would have to, again, go back to the cartoon. Maybe Joker is just a little bit tad taller than Batman, but I don't feel like he should be this much taller. While I really did like the Batman that Mondo released, both in the original version and the reissue that we looked at recently here on this channel, I love the Joker. The Joker looks exactly like he did from the cartoon, and with so many swappable options available between interchangeable heads, interchangeable hands, and tons of accessories, there's loads of different ways that you can actually display Joker here on the shelf. And though while I've now got him displayed right now, basically all the things that come with the standard release, we already saw at the beginning of this review the things that come in with the limited edition release. And again, it's up to you to decide for yourself which option you'd like to go, whether you want to try to track down the one that's 1,000 copies worldwide only, or be fine with the idea of getting the standard release. Standard by no means diminishes how cool this figure is, not to mention the things it comes included with as well. Everything you're looking at right now, the head and the fish, were all part of this standard release. FYI, though, if you guys are interested to get the standard version of Joker, it's still available over on Mondo's website, to which I can provide the link down below in the video description. And the price point for the Joker is $225. It was a little bit more than the Batman, but you're getting a taller figure with Joker. Strange that he is taller, but you're also getting a lot more accessories, I think, also with the Joker. Batman had a lot of smaller accessories, which I guess you could say maybe he did actually have more than the Joker. But I think almost Joker has more fun accessories, more things I'd be likely leaning towards displaying him with. Batman, like his gas mask, his goggles, and all of those things were nice to see with the figure, but I don't think they'd be anything I'd ever want to display with the figure, where Joker, there's an abundance of things to choose from. Again, if you guys are interested and would like to get either the standard release or the limited edition release, limited, you'd have to try to track one down online and see if you can luck out and find one. Or again, if you are interested and want to get the standard release for all the things that come included with the standard version, it's available right now over on Mondo's website for $225. Once again, a big thank you to the folks over at Mondo that did provide the sample of the Joker limited edition 1,000 copy release. Even though, again, technically it only had 2 swappable heads that were different, and it came with a stick of dynamite that again was different. All the rest of the things that came included with Joker, I feel the fun things with Joker were all part of the standard release anyways. If you did enjoy this video, hit a like. If you're loving the content you're seeing and do certainly want to stick around for more, then make sure you hit the subscribe button down below and turn on the bell notification. And though while we have wrapped up the review for Joker, if you are interested to check out other things I've reviewed for Mondo, popping up at the very end will be a playlist of all other Mondo reviews if you have a little bit of time on your hands. And lots more videos coming your way, guys. So as always, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.